Okay. All right. So tonight we're going to learn about the law of attraction based on Kabbalah. Okay. The law of attraction based on Kabbalah is very amazing, and the reason for that is because in today's world we're very, very aware of the law of attraction. There's a lot of talk about the law of attraction. There's a lot of awareness about the law of attraction, and it seems to be coming out. It seems to be surfacing from a very not Jewish standpoint. I don't know if however you saw the movie or read the book, The Secret. So about 80% of that is true and 20% of that is not. So it's really important as Jews and people that have the source for all of this, because that's where it all stems from, the Zohar, Kabbalah, to know the truth, to know black and white, what is it? How do you make it work for yourself? Why is it that it seems so simple? It's almost like you attract what you think, you create what you think. It seems so simple, and yet everyone, mankind, is searching and wanting and desiring more, different, better feeling, more pleasure, less pain. So if it's so simple that if it's all it has to do with my thoughts, then I'm not thinking. That man that was driving on the highway on the way here, he wasn't thinking car accident. That family that was about 5 minutes in front of them wasn't thinking car accident, like really bad car accident, like no car left car accident. None of them were thinking that. So how does this work? Bottom line, if this is real, and it's written in the Zohar, and it's something that was given to us 3,300 years ago on a mountain in the desert, and it's something that it has so much realness to it, to the point where in the world today it's so popular and it's everywhere, and there's hundreds of books that have been written about it and speakers that are speaking all over the world about it, and it's working for so many people. How does it work? What's the equation? So this class is going to be hopefully very inspiring, but also very logical. Okay, because as Jews, we are the people of the book, and for us it has a lot to do with our minds coming before our hearts. Oftentimes we get in trouble when our hearts come before our minds, especially for us.
Why?
And why is that?
Sorry to ask. Yeah.
No.
Interrupt?
No. Your heart comes into play when your mind understands something to be true. So if your mind understands that bacon is not healthy, then your heart's not gonna. Maybe it's gonna desire it, but it's not gonna. The desire is not gonna be so intense. It's not gonna be like, oh my God, I really want that, right? Because in your head, you've already you've come to a place in your head that you understand that A, it's not kosher. B, even if it was kosher, I don't know how kosher it is for my health, right? I don't know how it's going to impact me on whatever level. So it makes it a little further out there. It's not so immediate. You don't want it as much, because you have enough information in your head to teach you why this is like better not now. Right? And a lot of us have that, let's say for example with like smoking or being around the wrong people or being involved in things that we know internally that doesn't sit well with us, but we make our minds work in favor of that. That's the only way we're able to get around it. If your head is telling you no, this is not for me, this is bad for me, this is going to make me feel pain, this person, working for this person or being in a relationship with this person is going to take me backwards, it makes me feel small, it makes me feel inadequate. So in my head it's like it's already so not that my heart's going to want it a little less. You've ever been in a relationship with someone that delivered in so many ways, but in huge crucial ways were pulling you back? Have you? So in a way, it's like, yeah, I want this person, but I don't want the whole package. Can I see myself married to this person like 30 years, 40 years down the road? No. Now, is it fun and nice and cute and exciting? Yeah, at times, until that other side of their personality comes out. And then it's like, oh wait, what am I doing here again? Right? Because the more Rabbi Nachman teaches that the more a person's sechel, the more a person's logic understands something in its entirety, then the heart goes after that. If there's not enough information in our minds and our heart just desires something, then most likely we're going to get there. We're going to get to what our hearts want. The idea is the goal. This is rule number one. Okay, rule number one. The goal is to get as much information as we can before we make any kind of decision. We always want in our lives to make an educated decision. We want our hearts to go in the game, to get in the game once our minds give it the green light. Now, we do a lot of things that are contradictory to ourselves. We don't eat well, a lot of us. We don't exercise. We are around people that are not healthy for us, or experiences that are not healthy for us, right? We engage in things that are self-sabotaging in many ways. So why do we do that? Why do we do that? Based on what you just learned. Why do we do that? Why are you involved in things that are not good for you? Who here smokes? Raise your hand. No one? Wow.
Sometimes.
What?
Cigars.
Whatever you smoke, you smoke. Okay, cigars is not as bad. Okay, so who here does something that's self-sabotaging in some way?
Everyone.
Who does it? Okay, so what's the logic? What's the logic behind it? How do you make it okay in your head to allow you, permissible, makes that okay for you? Tell me.
Just a small amount.
Small amount? Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me just have a little bit never hurt anyone. A little bit never killed anyone. Even heroin, even a little bit never killed anyone.
It sounds like you're preaching close-mindedness. That you know exactly what you want, what's right for you, and you have to use your brain first before you make a decision. That doesn't really not open-mindedness.
And then what?
That doesn't let you be open-minded.
What does open-minded mean?
Yeah, it's experiences. Sometimes on the surface you see something, but you necessarily know what that is. You actually experience it.
Okay. Okay, good.
Yeah, but she's saying be open-minded, not open-minded.
No, she's saying no, but she's saying like, okay, don't let yourself get involved in things that you know are bad for you, but how do you know? So you have to
You can let your mind engage with it and play chess in your mind.
And then you
see
then you
which side works out better.
and then you never move forward. You just think, and act.
Wait, stop. It's not that you think. It's not that you're thinking. We are programmed for survival. That's how we're programmed. There's a famous story of this guy that was on death row. He was being taken out for stoning. He was about to die. His life was about to end. As he was walking towards I'm sorry, it wasn't a stoning, it was the chair. As he was walking towards the chair, he was walking down a hallway, and there was a brick that fell off of the wall where he was. And he went like this. Why? Because we all have an instinct to survive, even if death is right there. God forbid. Right? Because that's how we're programmed. So we're not going to do things that are bad for us. We don't want to do things that are bad for us. We don't want to hurt ourselves ever. We want to live as long as we possibly can. People that don't want to live, people that are in a place of wanting to end their life, are in a place, they've made so many connections in their heads that the bottom line equation, the bottom line logic is, it's better for me not to live. It's happier for me not to exist. So therefore I will go to a place that's happy. We're wired for pleasure. We're wired for existence. We're wired for survival. We're wired to experience goodness. That's how we're wired. That's why we get out of bed in the morning and go to work and make money and buy fancy things that make us feel good and want to be in relationships. Why do we want all these things? Why do we want food and relationships and jobs and money and cars and homes? Why? Bottom line, what do we want? We want the car, we want the house, we want the relationship, or we want the thing that it gives us? What does it give us? The feeling, the good feeling. That's what we're after. We are after, us human beings, that's what makes the world go round. That's what makes everyone get out of bed in the morning. We want to feel good. And that's how we were created. It says in Chavot HaLevavot that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world, God created the world with one intention in mind. And that was to bestow pleasure on His creations. Now, what we think is pleasure could be very, very different than what pleasure really is. How often is it that we are in a place of, this will make me happy, and then I get there and I'm like, it's okay. Maybe if I have more of that, it'll make me happier. You know? Maybe if I get more money, then I'll be happy. That's what Chazal tells us, the Torah in its brilliance tells us, if a person has one, he wants two, and if he has two, he wants four. He always wants to triple it. To double it. It's not like if I want two, I want three. I want four. And if I have four, I want eight. That's how we are. So let's go back to the question. The question that we started before is, so what is the law of attraction based on Judaism? What is the law of attraction based on Torah? And how do I make it work in my favor? How do I actually stop self-sabotaging? Because if I don't have the things that I want in my life right now, it's because I'm putting a stop. I'm closing the window. I'm shutting the door. I'm holding up the umbrella. Why? Because God is endlessly giving and endlessly loving and endlessly, it's almost like you walk into a room in the middle of the day and the room is covered in windows and it's pitch dark inside, and you think to yourself, what happened? Where did the sun go? But you know it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the sun didn't go anywhere, the sun is shining bright outside. The problem is not the sun, the problem is the windows. The windows are covered in paste and dirt and grime and grease and something that's blocking the sun. The idea is to clean off the windows and then the light comes in. Does the light ever stop shining? Never. The light, Hashem's constant, loving, giving, bounty, blessing, never. It never stops. The only thing that stops it is my resistance to it. And that's AKA self-sabotaging. Meaning the only thing that stops it is my disbelief in ever having that and ever being that. And it could be in the forefront of my head. I'm like, yeah, of course I can be married. Of course I can have a lot of money. Sure I can, but there's something going on here. The wires back here are crossed in a way that they're sending you a very clear message of resistance. No. You can't have that. That's not coming to you. You're not strong enough. You're not bright enough. You're not successful enough. You're not creative enough. You're not. And that's the window that's dirty. So in essence, what are we saying? We're saying, since there's constant goodness being given to us on a 24/7, never stop, never ending, constantly. And the whole purpose of our creation is to experience pleasure, and that's what gets us out of bed in the morning. And that's what we're after 24/7. Love, relationships, connection, money. That's the whole purpose of creation. So we're pretty much in sync with what the whole purpose of the world. It wants to give us good, we want to receive good. So what's the problem? What's stopping it? What's not allowing things to happen for me in my life that I want to happen for me in my life? It wants to give me, I want to receive. What's stopping it? Answers. Don't just look at me. What? Our thoughts. Us. Give me more.
You start to send money.
Resistant thoughts. It's saying I cannot have I'm not good enough, I have problems, I'm not succeeding.
So you think thoughts. Okay. Yeah.
Fears. Feelings.
Feelings.
Fears.
Fears.
I mean, you mentioned money, so I want to say something about internationalism in Tel Aviv. Trying to make a living here is very, very difficult. As much as you want to do it, most people don't succeed and have to leave the country. That's just a factor of life here. So unless you have an idea in terms of why that is.
I want to pop that. By the end of this class, that whole theory is going to be popped. Okay, I'm going to tell you where it's coming from.
Places Sicily to me that I'm involved in, but I've seen over the past 12 years.
For sure. You're definitely working off of what you've seen, and you're definitely working off of your experience. That's where this bottom line is coming to you from. It's hard to make money in Israel. Tel Aviv.
Statistically, around the community that we're all a part of, it's very difficult to build a career here, like it is in the countries that we came from.
How many Yotzim and Aklals are there? How many?
Very few.
There are very few.
There are, but the minority, not the majority.
Okay. You know Tony Robbins? You know what he does? He goes to all these minorities in the world that are doing really, really well for themselves, and he says to them, "What's your secret? What are you working off of? What's your game plan? How do you approach things?" Because if, let's say the majority of the world, okay, if we would take the majority of the world, let's say, I'm just making things up, let's say 20% is super successful out there, like billions, okay? And let's say another 30%.
Apply to Israel. I mean, mid-career in this country, for most people,
I don't hear you well, sorry.
I'm saying mid-career in Israel for
Yeah.
internationals is almost impossible. And that's one of the big problems with Aliyah today. Become a beginning of a career, or your career is outside the country, it's a different story. But
Okay.
Here, that's just,
So Tony would tell you, this is what Tony would say. He would say there are a few different rules. Every single person has a rule book for their own life. I don't fall into any statistic. I don't belong to any kind of pool of people. There's an equation that I can apply and I can see sprout, or I don't apply and I kind of have this herd mentality, like, oh my God, it's so different, or whatever every majority of people are saying. And one of the things that Tony says is that in order to be able to understand, in order to be able to get further in your life, you got to be resourceful. You got to be resourceful. You got to be able to figure out ways of being able to move this machine along. And he says, not just him, but he says it's from our holy scriptures. They make it very, very clear that in essence, our thoughts and our beliefs about something actually makes this thing act and respond and experience itself based on how we think and feel about it. So people, if you've ever studied people that are super successful, people that are super out there, people that have at the age of 20 and 25, okay, taking themselves to a whole different level, let's just say financially, right? What's their secret sauce? They have a secret sauce, so what is it? And if you interview all of them, and most of them have been interviewed, they have a very, very similar recipe. And the recipe is, I don't care what everyone else says, I am going to make it happen. And it's very not in line with how we're programmed. Human beings are programmed to think. Our minds are programmed to think. Okay, that's why it says in the Torah, Yetzer lev adam ra min ne'urav, that we have this inclination to go dark, to go negative. Oh my God, I have to go to the airport. There's for sure going to be traffic. Oh my God, I'm going to miss my flight. Oh my God, I don't have enough money for rent. Oh my God, I'm going to get fired. Or we have a knee-jerk reaction to go to the left. That's how we were created. And the whole job, the whole purpose, the nugget, the whole equation is really to turn the wheel in this direction. And that's what we're doing here tonight. That's what we're learning tonight. That's what we're going to understand tonight, how to do that. It's very nice to tell me, okay, to turn the wheel, to steer it in another direction, but how? How do I steer it?
I have a question.
Yes.
What's the difference between like Jewish law of attraction and normal, regular?
And the regular law of attraction.
Yeah.
That in first of all, the regular law of attraction, they derived it from Jewish texts and sources. Okay, so that's where it originates from. So certain things were not learned properly or understood correctly. So there's holes in their logic. There's some holes in the logic there. So when you learn it clearly from the Zohar, when you learn it clearly from something that is a text that is that ancient and that wise, you understand that you see where they're going in their direction and how ours is a little different. Okay. Here we go. Are you ready? I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you in a nutshell. I'm going to give it to you so you can really run with it. Okay, there's no time to waste. We're in this world for 70, 80 years, and then we check out. And as I've heard from many people that are older, that how did that happen so fast? How did my life fly by so fast? Like, I'm 36 today. I feel like I'm 20. How did I come from 20 to... How did that happen so fast? What? Right? And we feel that now, and we feel that later, and then we feel that at the end. So really, there's... What's that?
Today's your birthday?
No, it's not my birthday. Wait, give me some time. I need every day, every moment is important. Not my birthday yet. So the thing is that really we have the information, we have the desire, we have the passion, we have the wants. Otherwise, you wouldn't be sitting here. The reason that you're sitting here, the reason that you brought yourselves to this porch, okay? The only reason is because you want better. You want more. You desire clarity, connection, passion, more than what you currently have. That's why you're here. There's no reason other than that you're here. I mean, it's a nice view and everything, but that's why we're here. So, here's the explanation. Try to alert yourselves. Get in the thinking cap mode, and let's understand this. Okay. So imagine you're on a date. And being that there are more men than women here, I'm going to turn it around. Imagine you're on a date, and she comes to the date, and you come to the date, and she's on her phone most of the time. She's on her phone, she's looking over your shoulder, she wants a drink, she wants another drink, she has to go to the bathroom, she's just like, you start telling her about your life, you start telling her about what you do, and she's just like, right? And you go home. And your friend asks you, how was it? And you say, it wasn't. Why? Why wasn't it? Because it wasn't. What happened? She wasn't there. She wasn't present. She didn't see me. She didn't hear me. She didn't interact with me. She was like not there. Right? So the question is, did she see you? Practically, did she see you? Did she?
Yes.
Yes, she saw you. Was she there with you? Yes. She was there. Was she there? Are you here? Am I here?
Physically, yes, but not
Good.
mentally, cognitively.
Good.
Okay.
So physically it was all there. So what do you mean when you say she didn't see me? She wasn't in tune with me. She didn't feel me. What do you mean when you say that? You mean that there's a me beyond this me. There's a me. There's my emotions, there's my drives, there's my vision, there's my goals, there's my aspirations. There's all these parts of me that are not this me, that there's this internal world me. And she was totally not there. She was totally not even coming near the direction of connection. Right? So the idea is like this. Once we understand the premise that I am not just body, but I also have an internal world. And this internal world is the home. It's the house for my aspirations, my goals, my dreams, my wants, my need to create, to love, to connect, my need for a relationship, all of that. Once I understand that there's a whole world inside of me that's the language of it. That's the thing that makes me happy, the thing that makes me cry, the thing that makes me long and desire. Right? When I understand that I'm beyond just like the physical casing, but there's a whole me that's inside, then I'm looking for someone to connect to the me. Beyond this me. If someone just says, I like you for your money, I like you for your car, I like you for the way you look, you're like, bye. Because I know that that's like so superficial, has nothing, like very little to do with me. Really. So let's go back to this understanding that in essence a human being is body and soul. Body and internal world. That's what we're made up of. Now Zohar teaches like this. Kabbalah teaches like this. It says, the spiritual structure of a human being is made up of two things. Nefesh Elokit and Nefesh Be'emit. There's two nefashot inside of a person. Nefashot is like a spiritual entity. Okay, so we're not just like internal being. There are like layers to this internal being. There are rungs to this internal being. Okay, it's not just like an internal being. It's not just like a neshama. It's not just a neshama. There's different layers to it. And when I get older and I work on myself and I grow and I stop doing certain things and I start doing other things, I expand that and I get more in touch with that and I feel more like myself and I feel more comfortable in my skin and I like life more. When do I not like life? When is life hard? When I'm totally not in sync with me. When I'm walking the walk and talking the talk of somebody else's script, not mine. Then I don't feel good. I might have money in the bank, or I might have that car, or I might have that girl, or that guy, or I might have that house, I might have whatever, but I'm not happy. People are not happy when their external life and their internal world are not in sync. When there's that missing connection there, then they feel something's lacking, something's missing. I don't know. I don't like this. So he says like this: Nefesh HaBe'emit is responsible for. Okay, the Nefesh HaBe'emit is responsible for all the fundamental basic needs that a person has: eat, sleep, procreate, pleasure, any kind of pleasure that a person needs or wants, instinct for survival. That's all in the Nefesh HaBe'emit. That's the lowest rung of our nefesh. That's the lowest rung of our spiritual experience entity. When I say nefesh, I mean that it's the life force. It's what gives me the ability to move my hands up and down right now. It's what allows my mind to think and to want things. It's what keeps my heart beating. That's the nefesh. It's the life force inside this body. And when I'm able to understand that I have this nefesh that's called nefesh HaBe'emit, and I also have another part of it that's called nefesh HaElokit, which is the spiritual part of me, which is the part of me that wants things beyond the physical, that wants to love, that wants to experience connection, that has aspirations, that wants to make a dent on this world before they go, that wants to help, that wants to be of service, that has dreams, that cares, that wants to give their own money, that they don't have to give anyone, to give to people that they don't know on the street. That's the part of us, that's the Nefesh HaElokit. That's the Nefesh HaElokit. All the goodness inside of us, all the desires for good, for expansiveness, for growth, for development, that's all in the Nefesh HaElokit. The Nefesh HaBe'emit is the other voice. The other voice of pleasure, now, sleep, eat, okay? That's the Nefesh HaBe'emit. That's what keeps us alive, like actually like functioning, this machine going. Okay. So it sounds like this. The Zohar explains like this. I'm really like cutting through my notes like chetzi because I'm late and you guys look tired. And if anyone has questions, you can raise your hand or you can just call out. It says like this. That if I were to speak to an atheist right now and I were to ask him, tell me, do you believe in God? No. Do you believe in soul? No. Do you believe in next world? No. What do you think happens after this lifetime? The ground, lights out, curtains closed, over. So let me ask you a question then. Do you ever feel sad? Yeah, sure, plenty. Do you ever feel happy? Of course. Do you have a desire to fall in love? Of course, yes. So if I were to cut you down the middle right now and I were to look for you, what makes you you? If I were to cut you down the middle and look for that, where would I find that? Would I find it in your actual physical heart? Would I find it in the chemicals in the brain? Would I find it in your spleen, in any one of your organs? Where would I find it in your sinews and your tissues? Where would I find you? Where are you? Where is all of that part of you, the parts of you that wants to expand and all the things that we just said before? Where is it? And I've asked this question to many, many people that said that they don't believe in God. And oftentimes, most of the time, after they argued a little bit and their arguments really didn't make any sense, they were like, I don't know. Why? Because you can't not see what's provable these days. How many of you have heard of Dr. Emoto's water experiment? Dr. Emoto water experiment, YouTube, go home, YouTube it. Okay, this is like an hour clip and then there's a 3-minute clip, watch either one. Dr. Emoto is a Chinese or Korean doctor, okay, and he did an experiment. And the experiment was on 3 cups of water. To 1 cup of water, he spoke well to. He said, you're beautiful, you're lovely, you're wonderful, I love you. To the other cup of water, he said terrible things to. He cursed, he said, you're terrible, you're ugly, I hate you, I will hope you die. And the 3rd cup of water he left alone, he didn't say anything to. Then he took molecules from each cup, and he looked at it under a microscope. And the water molecules that he spoke nicely to were in the shape, you can watch it on YouTube, you can go on. Then later Harvard took this on, and Yale, and a bunch of universities across the states took this whole experiment on themselves, and they did it with a bunch of different things, and it works every single time with every single thing. It's kind of crazy. The water that he spoke nicely to was in the shape of crystals and diamonds, snowflakes, the H2O molecules combined in those kind of formations. The water that he spoke negatively to, the water, he said Hitler, he said all these different terrible things to it. The water itself, you see the molecules, they look deformed and they split down the middle, just like really, really ugly forms and like terrible, terrible looking. And the water that he didn't say anything to was just in the form of H2O molecule. And basically what they understood from this, what the bottom line from this experiment is that the words we say actually shape our reality. They shape our physical reality. So living in a world like we are today, you can see, right? You could drive down this Baruch Shov street and say there's no parking. There's never any parking. It's awful. It's awful. There's no money in this thing for Olim. There is no, because what are we doing? We are looking at reality and we are stating what we're looking at. I see a red tomato. What am I doing? I'm saying I see a red tomato. What do you see? I see a red tomato. I am stating what I am looking at. This is my experience right now. What we're learning here is that our actual words, and I'll get to the thought in a second, but our actual words, the ones that we keep saying over and over and over and over again, the ones that we keep repeating because we're just stating the reality, we're stating the facts. The words that we're saying over and over again are actually creating more and more and more and more and more of what we're saying. So take it to the other direction. If I were to say, I am looking at a yellow banana and not a red tomato, I'm looking at a yellow banana, so you'd be like, okay, you're not going to manifest a yellow banana. I might not turn the red tomato into a yellow banana, but a yellow banana will meet me very, very, very soon. I will see a yellow banana very, very, very shortly. If I keep saying yellow banana, I will come in contact with the yellow banana. How many of you have ever not been aware of something? Not been aware of something that exists in this world? Chinese. How many of you speak Chinese? Okay, no one here speaks Chinese. Terrible. So, you don't know Chinese, you don't know how to read Chinese, you don't know how to understand Chinese, you don't speak Chinese, your brain doesn't know Chinese. Okay? So, what am I doing? What am I saying right now? I'm saying, I don't know Chinese, I don't know how to speak Chinese, I'm reading the reality as is. If I were to do this, if I were to open myself up to saying, you know what? I can learn Chinese. I can read it. I can write it. Even at this age, I could do it. I can do it. Let's say that thought were to float around in your brain for a little bit of time. Let's say for like a week. Try anything. Go home and try this, okay? Just go home and try this. Think about anything. Entertain it. Just like you're daydreaming. Just like you were when you were a kid. Just like daydreaming about whatever. Frolicking in the mountains or picking flowers on Mount Everest or I don't know, something crazy like that. Daydream. Okay? Without any resistance. Not like, oh, come on, that's not practical. Oh my God, that's so not realistic. Oh my gosh, that's not real. It's not, I'm like, not a baby. Like, you gotta call a spade a spade. You gotta look at what you're looking at and say exactly what it is. You can't be all spiritual and flowery, but it's not spiritual and flowery. You know why? Because it's been proven scientifically. At this point, it's been proven scientifically. En chadash tachat hashemesh. Everything that the Jewish people believed all these generations and generations and thousands of years is coming into reality today in the non-Jewish world and being proven scientifically under a microscope. So if I were to entertain in my head Chinese, as far-fetched as it is for me, you would see over the course of the week how many times you would hear Chinese, how many times you would bump into Chinese people, even here. How many times all of a sudden you would come in your reality would come in contact with a thing that you're thinking about. As far away as it is from you, as you think as it is from you. So the bottom line, okay, and I feel bad because I see that it's late and you guys are tired, but I drove all the way here from Jerusalem. You're gonna listen.
Yeah, we're perfect.
Are you good? Okay, cool. Because some I see some eyeballs rolling.
It's okay.
No, it's great.
Okay, good. I don't want to be matriach you anymore. So, the bottom line is that in reality, if I say what I'm looking at, if I just dictate exactly what it is that I'm looking at, I'm just going to get more of what it is that I'm looking at. I don't have money. I'm broke. I can't think of a way out. I don't know how to generate money. I don't know how to make money in this country. You need more money to live in this country than you do to live in Los Angeles. How do I do this? How do I make money? There's no way to make money. Or, I don't know, I'm not marriage material. I'm not the type of person that attracts real relationships. I attract emotionally emotionally unavailable people, or narcissists, or I attract people that hurt me. It's my track record. Proof is in the pudding. It's what I am. It's what I do. It just is. So what we're learning right now is that you want to call it source, you want to call it God, you want to call it the universe, you want to call it whatever you want to call it. It's very, very simple. What you say, what you think, it says Amen. Amen. There's no money in Israel for you? Amen. There's no girl in Israel for you? There's no guy in Israel for you? Amen. You're not marriage material? Amen, brother. That's how it works. So basic. So fundamental. Now I want to give you a little piece of the Zohar because we have to give it some roots somewhere. Can't just say these nice flowery things. A lot of people are saying this all over YouTube. I'm not the first one to say this, right? We want to give it some substantial footing. The Zohar says like this. He explains that a nefesh is the life force that we have inside of us, our internal world. This nefesh has 5 levels to it. It's nefesh from the lowest one, nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya, yechida. That's what makes you into a spiritual being having a physical reality in this world. That is what makes you cry and laugh and want and desire and give and all of it. That is what makes you. That is what you're comprised of. And on top of that, there's a body, a machine that's sent into this world to get those things done, to experience this pleasure. We as human beings don't really have access to the last 3. The top 3 are for people that are really spending their lives in righteousness. People are spending their lives in really, really, really focused thought, really, really careful what they watch, what they see, what they say, who they're exposed to, what's around them, the energies that they're in. Very, 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 very exact and specific about what they want and where they're going, and they have the formula. And then they can reach higher rungs. Have you ever felt all of a sudden like aha moment? Like you could be like brushing your teeth and all of a sudden you're like, oh, right. Like all of a sudden you have this like clarity about something that you didn't get till now. Yeah?
Epiphanies, yes.
Epiphany?
Mhm.
Have you ever had one?
I don't know what it is.
Like all of a sudden like this like clarity about something that up until now you didn't see, and all of a sudden you see it now. All of a sudden you get it now.
Sometimes.
Sometimes it's called an aha moment, like aha, like that. Eureka, right? Where you all of a sudden get something. What happened to you there? How is it something that you were blind to before 5 minutes ago, and all of a sudden 5 minutes later you like get this, and it all of a sudden fits into your puzzle, and you understand why this person acts this way, or why this keeps happening to you. You get it. Why do you get it? Because spiritually you expanded. Spiritually, maybe that morning you did something, you said something, you acted in a way, you did something that allowed you to, spiritually, internally, to expand. And when you expand, any single time we expand as human beings, all of a sudden we have a lot more clarity. We have a lot more vision. Our vision is widened. It's not this. There are only jobs on 4th Street, 5th Street, and 6th Street. That's my understanding of reality. Our vision expands. All of a sudden our world becomes a lot bigger. It becomes a lot more. There are so many more opportunities. When a person doesn't feel like life has any opportunities for them, it's because their vision is tiny, so tunnel vision. So how do I get to the place of expansiveness? Not by working harder at what I'm doing, because what I'm doing is giving me the same exact results, but by expanding myself. How do I expand myself? We expand ourselves, and we expand ourselves internally. And if you're selfish, this is the first thing you should be doing. If you love yourself, this is the first thing you should be doing. Instead of walking around all day and complaining about what's not working out, and about statistics, we love you, and about all the stuff that everybody talks about, because that's the way of the world. That's what the world talks about. That's how we talk. That's the lingo. People want to cry about their situations. People want to, be upset about all the bad things and the traumas that they went through in their life. We have an itiyah. We have a pulling towards that. We don't have a pulling towards the other way. So how do I expand? How do I expand internally? I expand internally when I understand that everything in my life is energy. Everything in my life is energy. If I wake up every single day and have my coffee and do the same exact thing every single day, I will get the same exact day every single day. In order for me to call, in order for me to experience, in order for me to touch, taste, smell something different, the thing that I'm dreaming about, the thing that I want, I have to know that I have to break this loop. I'm in a loop. There's even I don't know what it's called. I have to research it because I'm thinking a lot about it these days. I read somewhere that there's this whole teaching. This is not Jewish. There's this whole teaching that if you're used to brushing your teeth with this hand every single morning, switch it. Brush it with this hand every single morning. If you're used to soaping your body in the shower before shampooing, first shampoo and then soap your body. Why? Because every single action, every single one of our actions creates an energy. So if I am in the same energy loop every single day, day in and day out, I have to know that's just the way it's going to continue for me. I have to bust out of that momentum. I have to come out of that experience. How do I do that? By small shifts and small changes in what? In thought, in words, and in actions. We are a culmination. Our entire life is a culmination. Our entire life is a besach hakol of our thoughts, our words, and our actions. That's it. If you change any one of those three pieces a little bit, needle point shifts, needle point moves, that's why I call this series Breakthrough. If you want to experience a breakthrough, what are you breaking out of? What are you breaking through? What are you busting out of? That loop. If you want to experience any kind of breakthrough, you gotta know that one of those things needs to change. If you want to change all three, kol hakavod. Change a thought, change the words, change the actions. Not all of them, because then we as fast as we go, that's how fast we're going to crash. Because we're beings of habit. That's how we are. So we have to understand that this is the equation. If you want more money, stop saying you're broke. Stop. What do you want? Remember the Amen? Remember the universe, source, God, life is saying amen to what you're saying. If you are in a constant state of just reading reality, you will continue to read reality for the rest of your life. We don't want to sit here and narrate reality. That's not my job. That's not how I was sent in this world. That's not what I want to be busy doing with my whole life, narrating reality. I want to create my reality. I want to experience an amazing reality. And the only person that can create the reality that you want to experience is you. And the only way to do that is by coming to more classes, is by getting more techniques and more tools under your belt and putting them into practice and just doing it like a robot. Just doing it like a robot. You know why? Because you have this little angry child inside that says, no, I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to not do what I did yesterday. I want to do exactly what I did yesterday. I don't want to not end the day off doing X, Y, Z. I want to exactly end the day off doing X, Y, Z, or start the day off doing X, Y, Z. I don't want to start the day off at 5 o'clock in the morning running. No. I don't want to start the day off at 5 o'clock in the morning praying. No. I don't want to have that 1 hour in the middle of the day where I could just like chill or whatever and go to like a soup kitchen and like give out like food. No. Just leave me alone. So then there's no one to complain to, and there's no one to bicker to, and there's no one to cry to. Because again, that's deepening the hole, and deepening the hole, and deepening the hole. So the equation, my friends, my sisters and brothers that have come to learn the deep secrets of the Torah. The equation is like this. I just want you to know one thing before I just give it to you. Right now, every single month on the calendar has a different energy to it. There's a different energy to the time that we're in now than we were 2 weeks ago. A whole different energy. If you want healing, get it on the month of ER. ER is all about healing. If you want freedom to come out of things that are holding you in, you feel like you're like in prison and you have the key and you don't know how to get out, Nisan, that's your month to bust out of jail. Because it's all about Exodus. That's the month of Passover. Right now we're in the month of Elul. Elul is all about love and connection. It's all about closeness to God. Because God, it says in the Zohar, God is closer than He is all year long. Closer than He is by Rosh Hashanah, closer than He is by Yom Kippur. Closer during this time. These 30 days are the days of compassion and love and closeness. It says that HaMelech Basadeh, it's almost like figuratively, as if spiritually, on whatever level and whatever way, He gets off His throne and He comes down to the people. Meaning what's normally much, much harder for us to reach spiritually, to change, to reword, to rewire, to recreate, is much easier right now. Because He wants us to move into a better direction. Because He's all about love. He's all about giving. He's all about your pleasure. He's all about you not being stuck and being sad and being alone and being afraid. He's all about that not being your reality. So He puts it into the creation right now, right before Rosh Hashanah, right before the whole year is about to start, right before everything is about to be written down and kind of like we're going to have to live it out for the following year, God willing. He puts it out right now and He says, whatever it is that you want, say, what do you want? What do you want? How much do you want it? Talk to me. It's like these small, tiny, little things that we human beings want to complicate. Because everything has to be so complicated in order for it to work. It can't just be like, oh, all I just say is, God, I want to be less complicated. I want to just be happier in who I am and know who I am and get in touch with who I am and love the person that I am, not competing against anyone, especially not myself. It's so simple. But it can't work because that's like too easy. That's weird. That's weird. So it's not weird. Because everything that we say and everything that we do and everything that we think has an energy. And this energy either works in our favor or works against us. In our favor or works against us. If you think to yourself, I am not marriage material, that is a reality, that is a thought that you are putting in your life. It's almost like It's wanting to drive into our relationship, wanting to be happily married, wanting to be in that position, and at the same time you put your foot on the brake. That's the negative thinking. But like, come on, but really, like it's obvious. Like, look, I've done it in every single other relationship. I'm gonna do it again. That's the foot on the brake. Daydreaming, okay? Daydreaming. What is daydreaming? When we were little kids, before our teacher snapped us out of our daydream and back into reality, because our job as children, when we were learning what this life was about, it was very clear by the adults around us. The idea is to face reality. The idea is to live reality. And when we were little kids, we were always like escaping reality. The reality that was around us. We were to daydream or color or imagine and think we were whatever, Barbies or whatever we were thinking we were. Okay? I don't remember that far back. Right? Right? And so really, and what the teachers didn't know and what the adults didn't know is that we're not here to face reality. We're here to create reality. And the way dafka to create reality, and this is the nugget, the way to create reality, the reality that you want to see in your life, the only way to do that is to think without resistance. Is to envision without any resistance. Not like, I don't know how to do that, but where am I going to get the money? But to envision in your head, to think the thought on repeat. Because thoughts become beliefs. When the thoughts become beliefs, they become beliefs when what? When we think a thought over and over and over and over again. You can actually go on YouTube and watch it as well. There's a whole documentary on how the brain works and how after thinking a thought, I think it's 40 or 60 times, it creates a synapse in our brain and it becomes a belief. So thoughts become beliefs. So all you have to do is, as imaginary and as far-fetched and as unrealistic as it is, think the things that you want and stop thinking the things that you don't want. That's point A. Point B. Point B is understanding that it says in the Zohar that every single thing in this world has a spiritual structure to it. Just like we have a physical DNA, there's a spiritual DNA. And the spiritual DNA is called a sfirot. How many of you ever heard of sfirot? Spheros. Sfirot. There are 10 sfirot. It's a very, 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 very deep, intense conversation that we can probably have like about 30 classes on. So we're not going to get into it. But just the basic understanding for us to know is that the formation of these sfirot is like the DNA. If you walk into any Judaica store and you look at any pictures of the sfirot, you'll see it looks like a chain of DNA. Okay? And it has all these energies to it. It has Bina V'Dat and has all these energies to it. The top sfira, the most like the sfira that gives all the other sfirot its energy, is called Keter. The Zohar explains that the Keter, the crown, has 3 characteristics to it. It's in charge of 3 characteristics in your nefesh. Now you gotta know this, because if you want to know if you've ever studied anything, the more you study it, the more you understand it, the more you can use it in your life. The more of a maven you are in this area. A doctor that has a lot of experience in a specific area, every single person that needs his help is going to try to find the best doctor in that area. Why? Because he's done extensive research. He understands it. He's done surgeries. He gets it. His whole life is in it. So he understands the workings, the inner workings of it. Now, if my life is not going in the direction that I want it to go, maybe it has to do with the fact that I don't understand the inner workings of myself. And if I were to understand the inner workings of myself, and I can fine-tune it and tweak it a little bit, I can get to where I want to be. I can feel the person that I want to meet. I want to feel myself. I want to be happy, confident, secure, peaceful within me. It says that the Keter has 3 characteristics. Okay, these 3 characteristics, I'm just going to give it to you in a K'tzei leg here, just like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Taste. Exactly. 3 things. Emunah, Ta'anug, V'Ratzon. Emunah is, we're just going to leave it undefined right now. Ta'anug is pleasure, and Ratzon is will. Every part of you that wants pleasure, from that spoonful of ice cream to that cruise, to that marriage, to whatever it is that you want, that comes from the shorish of that, the root of that is there in the ketel. It's there in the ketel, and that is responsible for all the pleasure that you want in your life. That's where it's from. It's almost like you have a tree, and you have the trunk, and you have the leaves. If the soil is bad, then no matter how many times you're going to try to paint the leaves green, it's not going to work. It's not going to work, because the shoresh, the root, needs to be strengthened. So if you're not feeling pleasure in your life, and you're touching pleasure, and you're feeling pleasure, and you're doing pleasure, and you're experiencing pleasure, and you keep thinking that party, or that person, or that job, or that amount of money, or that, and you're not really feeling the pleasure, it's not sticking, you gotta go back to the shoresh, you gotta go back to the root. What am I not, what's the root? What's the root lacking? What's the soil lacking? Because the leaves, which are the manifestations that I'm experiencing in my life, they're not working so for me. And the next part is ratzon, is my willingness. So if I have an issue with will, with motivation, with getting out of bed, with doing things that are good for me, with procrastination. If I have an issue there, I have to know it's not the leaves. It's not the, oh look, I didn't get there on time, or I don't really care about that, or I keep losing jobs, or whatever it is. It's the sharesh, it's the root. What's going on at the root? What's the conversation at the root? What's the conversation at the root? We all have a story, and we're all living our story. The story is what keeps us stuck in the story. If we change our story, then our life story will change. And the third thing I want to get to right now is emunah. And with this I'm going to end. What's emunah? So everyone thinks emunah is belief. Emunah is not belief. Emunah is a spiritual muscle in our life source, in our nefesh, in the spiritual being inside of us, within us, which is who we are, me. Emunah is a spiritual muscle that when I strengthen it, like I do in the gym and I lift weights, when I strengthen it, I empower it, which means, how do I strengthen it? How do I empower it? What am I talking about? Emunah means it's a belief. It's not smart. It's not like a smartphone. It's very dumb. It's very not sophisticated. It's whatever I believe, I create. Whatever ani ma'amin, ani moshech. Whatever I believe in, whatever it is, it could just be not even real. For how many years were non-Jews across the world thinking that Jews have horns and tails? My friend told me, she was in Texas, she was in a gas station, this man came up to her and he said, "Are you Jewish?" And she said, "Yes." And he said, "Can I see your horns?" And she said, "Excuse me? I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?" It's something that is so ridiculous, and so, if you think, any person just thinks of that as, but it was something that was so driven into their conscious or subconscious that they really believed it. They believed it. So whatever you believe, hardcore believe about yourself, about your abilities, about your potential, about your life, about where you come from, about your parents, about what they did to you, about why now you are stuck in the loop that you are stuck in because of where you come from and what happened to you. Whatever you believe, you have to know, you manifest, and you create, and you attract. That's emunah. Emunah is a spiritual muscle inside of your nefesh that you activate by what you believe in. That's it. That's it. That's a law of attraction. The law of attraction is emunah. The law of attraction is believe in something, you're going to manifest it. Believe in it, you're going to see it. You're going to attract it. Believe that you're not worthy of being treated with respect. People around you are just going to spit in your direction. You're going to be like, what's wrong with everyone? And now, I'm not going to leave you off being like, oh, okay, so now I have to like rewire all of my insane thoughts and like I have to like, how do I do that? It's very simple. Rabbi Nachman teaches like this. He says, you will have negative thoughts coming to you. Negative thoughts are negative energies. Negative energies are created. I'm like giving you 3-hour class in like 5 minutes, okay? But negative thoughts are created. Negative energies are brought in by a few things. The things that they're brought in, the Alter from Kelm, who was one of the more saintly rabbis that lived, I think about, correct me if I'm wrong, Rabbi, 100 years ago. The Alter from Kelm. What? 100? Yeah. And he wrote like this. He said, health. When a baby is born, most of the time it's born healthy. What happens? How does illness and disease come about? When health is sabotaged. When as a person gets older, he ingests, he eats and drinks and smokes and thinks and does all these things that are counterproductive to health, and then illness comes out. Disease. What's disease? Dis-ease. There's a dis-ease. Why? Because there's health, and then all the stuff comes piling on top of health. So the reaction, the response is disease. So he says, how do you get rid of disease? You stop ingesting the stuff that creates disease. Meaning our bodies are naturally made to heal themselves. Our bodies are naturally made to heal themselves. If we stop ingesting and destroying or disrupting the flow of our health, if we just stop, we just stand out of our own way, we stop drinking that, and we stop eating that, and we stop doing that, and we stop the things that are sabotaging our health, naturally our bodies will come back to health. Sometimes it's too late, and then you have to get medicine involved. But oftentimes it's just because we continue to ingest the chemicals. Same thing happens on a spiritual level. Same thing, same exact thing. It's all a mirror, by the way. It's all a mirror. What happens up there is what happens down here. It's all a mirror. Spiritually, physically, what's happening in your life externally, you have to know what's happening inside of your life internally.
Can you give an example, please?
Sure. He says that if, for example, you have junk food that for the physical body deteriorates the body. Junk food deteriorates the body. After a certain amount of time you eat junk food. How many of you have seen these documentaries on Netflix of these people that have like, I want to like
Says me.
supersize me? Yeah. What was it again? That they ate McDonald's every day?
Yes. Morgan Spurlock, he's a filmmaker.
So they ate McDonald's every day, right?
Yes,
For 30 days?
Exactly.
For 30 days, he went in like thin, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he came out and they took his blood before and then they took his blood after, and he did this experiment. For 30 days he's only eating McDonald's breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and he gained a tremendous amount of weight, and his blood was like off the charts. Like his reading was insane. Like cholesterol, everything else before was fine. Why? Because what we put into our body affects our body, right? There's junk food. There's junk food for the soul. What's junk food for the soul? Junk food for the soul is anger, sadness, gossip, cursing, stealing, self-pitying, worrying, fear. All of that stuff is McDonald's for your soul. McDonald's. We are not supposed to be afraid 24/7. What's going to be? How am I going to pay the rent? What's going to happen? Being busy with reality. We are creating reality, and as long as we're busy with what we're seeing, we're not creating anything besides for what we're seeing. Spiritual junk food is the stuff that we ingest that creates detachment in our souls, that creates a feeling of emptiness, that creates a feeling of sadness, that creates a feeling of detachment from people and isolation and wanting to be away, not wanting to connect, not wanting to come out, not wanting to try new things, being afraid, being lonely. That's what spiritual junk food does after a while. So I'm going to end here because we have a class next week. But I'm going to challenge you for this week, for the next 7 days. I challenge you, and I'm going to ask you next week. Do it for yourselves because you love your life and you want to live a great one. Pick 3 spiritual junk foods. 3 spiritual toxicities, if that's a word. 3 things that are you shooting yourself in the foot all the time. Pick those 3 things, whether it's that you worry a lot, you're fearful, you're angry, you're sad, you complain, you self-pity, you whatever it is. Pick 3. Okay? And I want you to abstain. Just abstain. I'm asking you to do the opposite. I'm not asking you not to be like Richard Simmons or whoever we know these days. I'm not asking you to be like super positive, super happy, no. Just abstain. Like go off of sugar for a week, go off of these things for a week. I challenge you. If you're taking your life seriously, if you brought yourselves and you dragged your ear ends to sit on this porch tonight, okay, and you're doing this for yourself, then do it all the way. And no matter how entertaining or whatever the speech is, bottom line, the needle point moves that you make in your life, the small, tiny shifts that you make in your life are what is going to bring you to the life that you want. And it's not just like a saying, it's not a gimmick, I'm not trying to sell you anything. It's proof, it's reality. Pick 3 spiritual toxins, poisons, and abstain. Don't worry, don't be fearful, don't self-pity, find something else to do at that time. I don't know, go on a run, or watch something, or distract yourself completely. Rabbi Nachman says, don't deal with the negative thoughts. They will come on you like dark energies, like monsters. Don't deal with them. I'm no good, I'm never going to make it, I'm going to be homeless. Don't go there. Just don't lend them a hand. Don't go there. Don't even try to figure out why it's coming up for you. Don't. Go somewhere else. Detach. Men, you know how to detach. Detach. You want to see better? Detach. Abstain. For us, it's a little harder to detach. We get like really like whatever, crazy about things, right? For you guys, it's like, oh, okay, now I'm just gonna think about my burger, my beer. Awesome. Think about your beer. Don't think. You also cannot think, right? I heard this. Men have an ability not to think. Is that true? Like if you choose not to think right now, you have the ability not to think. No? No? Oh, I was excited for you. Okay, so that's your homework. I also want to open up a WhatsApp group for us. Okay?
You did already.
You did? Can you add me? Yes, please add me. I'm going to send you the notes for this class.
Sent already.
Oh. All right, I'm going to go out for a beer then. And I'm gonna send you a few reminders this week. Don't give up on yourself. Okay? Don't give up on yourself. Live for yourself. Don't give up. Okay? Giving up on yourself means giving in to yourself. Remember that. Giving up on yourself means giving in to yourself. Okay? So don't give in to yourself. Don't give up on yourself. Take these 3 poisons that you want to just abstain from and work on it till next Sunday night. And I'll see you then.